Hello, welcome to Rest Ministries. Today I want to talk to you about something that we all experience, but we don't always recognize. It's our emotions and the impact of our emotions. Negative emotions, if we leave them unchecked, can rob us of our peace and the abundance that Christ has already made available to us in our lives. Okay. Scripture reminds us in Psalms 139:2, you know when I sit down and when I rise up. You discern my thoughts from afar. This is telling us that God is not only aware of our actions, but he's aware of our thoughts before we even think them or speak them. Have you ever noticed how yawning works? It's almost contagious, right? One person yawns, then all of a sudden another person yawns. Then all of a sudden it's like a back and forth thing. I'm sure we've all been there, done that. It's, you know, I'm one to tell somebody who yawns around me, don't get it started because I know it's going to start something. Well, our emotions work the same way as a yawn, okay? Both positive and negative. Think about a time when you were in a good headspace, but then you regularly started attending a place or an environment filled with negativity, right? Maybe it was your workplace or just a familiar setting in general, right? Over time, did you notice your mood start to shift? Maybe your motivation started to decrease. It started being a little bit harder for you to get out of bed. Maybe you just started having thoughts of, oh, man, I really do not want to go into this place today. Thoughts like that. Well, that's because our emotions can latch onto us if we're not careful, and they can influence how we think and how we feel. But the opposite's also true. Okay. Maybe you were in a place of feeling anxious or anxiety or overwhelmed or discouraged. And then you started spending more time in a place or an environment marked by peace, encouragement, and positivity, right? Slowly, you notice your outlook start to change, right? Okay. You started thinking differently. You started getting up out of bed with a little bit of pep in your step. Okay. You started being happier. You started smiling more. Your perspective on life just started to change. You started looking at things in a more positive manner. Okay. It's because your perspective shifted. Our emotions, saints, they're very real. But I also want to tell you our emotions are very varied. Okay. They're also very uncertain. Our emotions are very unpredictable. And our emotions are often very untrustworthy. Okay. That's why we cannot allow our emotions to lead us. We must allow Christ to lead our thinking. In Isaiah 55:8-9, we are told, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts higher than your thoughts. This means we're called to change our thinking, aligning it with God rather than with our own feelings. Okay? In Philippians 2:5-8, Paul reminds us to have the same mindset as Jesus Christ. Okay? One of humility. Okay? One of obedience and one of surrender. Jesus didn't cling to his position. Think about this. Jesus Christ, the Messiah, the King of Kings, okay? He didn't come at the world and come in this world acting like a king. No, he came as a humble servant. This kind of sacrificial thinking transforms how we respond to people, how we respond to our environments, and how we respond to difficult situations. Okay? I encourage you all to be more Christ-like. Today, I also want to encourage you not to let negative emotions dictate your peace. Invite God into your thought life. Ask Him to renew your mind, to guard your heart, and to help you walk in the peace that only He can give you. This is how we find rest, not by trusting in our emotions, but by trusting in God. Thank you for joining us at Rest Ministries. If this message encouraged you today, I would ask you to share it with somebody who may need to hear it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And remember, true rest begins in Him. I will see you all next time.